everyone, it's Chelsea. So I pulled out my jackets, I got the purple on, I got my lovely Jessica Jones right there. So that means I am going to do a review on the full season of Jessica Jones Season 2. Finished it up late last night, I'm still recuperating from it. I have a killer migraine, but I'm gonna get through this. Alright, so if you haven't seen the series, you need to click off this right now because there are going to be spoilers throughout the whole thing. So if you haven't seen it, click off, watch at least the first 5, then come back, and then we can discuss more about this. Alright, so what I am going to do is do 3 videos of this because it'll be a little bit easier for me to edit and a little bit easier for you in case you haven't seen the whole thing and you have an opinion on it. Alright, now this first part of the season, we got to meet a lot of new characters. So we're going to do a little bit of downplay of basically the main characters that affected this season. And one that, 2 of them I really didn't really care about, but it was still important on it, and they were like barely in it, but it was still an importance. So the first one we're going to do is Price Chang. He is the PI that's similar to Jessica. He's just got the higher clientele, and he wants to be like the only PI in the city. So most of the season we got this between him and Jessica back and forth about, you know, he's trying to close her off for good. She doesn't like that, so we get a little bit of that. Griffin Sinclair is the love interest for Trish, and he's okay. He's just like the big CNN reporter, and you know, he did war in the back, and he's a good guy. You know, he's not a villain or anything. Griffin is the good boyfriend. You know, him and Jessica and Trish, you know, are like going through everything, trying to find anything bad about him, and he's not a bad guy. He's a little overprotective, but I'll get more into that a little bit later. Robert Coleman, aka Wizard, he is in the first episode, and he's someone who has abilities. I call them a power walking speed abilities. I mean, he can run really fast, but he just looks like he's power walking, so it's just funny. But he came in and he wanted Alias Investigations to protect him, so we saw a little bit of that. Oscar and Vito Orocho, Oscar is the new superintendent at the apartments for Jessica, and Vito is his son. And we see a little bit of back and forth, and you get to a little bit know more about his character throughout the season. But Vito is intrigued with Jessica because she has abilities. I mean, he has a Captain America action figure, and he doesn't go anywhere without that, so that's really cute. We finally get to meet Hogarth's partners, Chow and Benowitz. I think that's how you say his last name. I really don't care about them, but they're basically trying to push Hogarth away from the partnership. You'll learn a little bit more about that. Maximilian is a pedophile director, is what I can call it. He did some naughty things to Trish when she was 15 years old, and she called him out on that, blackmailed him, and he went to get information for IGH, as you know, the company that Jessica was held for 20 days. So we got to see a little bit more of him. That was basically it, but he was kind of important because you got to know more about Trish's past. Alyssa is the mysterious woman who has the same abilities as Jessica. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Yeah, she was mysterious, and she wears a wig, and she's not all that right in the head, and she has very big temperament problems. I was waiting for her to go green, is what basically. But Inez Green, she was a nurse at the IGH clinic that helped like Jessica and helped this Alyssa girl. So she's kind of important throughout the season. I don't think you really get into the other part until like episode 6 or 7. But right now she's just a homeless nurse who knew more about what happened to Jessica and Alyssa. So that's about it. And I guess I can include this guy because he was in episode 5, but he wasn't in it very long. Dr. Carl, or Dr. Carl Malice, or whatever, he's the main villain. I guess he's not really a main villain. I mean, he is a villain, but he's kind of one of the reasons why all these people have these abilities. You know, he thought he was protecting everybody, giving people a second chance at life. And he kind of has this sort of like a control on Alyssa. And, you know, he's one of the doctors left. Everybody else is basically dead with IGH. So Jessica has to, like, find this mad scientist to help him explain to her the big question of why. You know, that's the basic of the new characters that I saw. I enjoyed a lot of the additions, except for I don't really care much about Hogarth's storyline. I mean, I do feel bad for her because karma bit her really hard, and now she has to deal with the disease with ALS. And, you know, they had this agreement where she can be a part of the company if her medical reasons were going to affect her work. And we got to see a little person, well, I won't say little person, we got to see somebody in a scene that makes sense. We got to see lovely Foggy. You know, he came back to kind of help Hogarth because she got him this job, and, you know, Hogarth shutting everybody down. But we got to see that. And it's just the whole company taking over thing, which would have made more sense probably like an Iron Fist. You know, make Hogarth be a main character on Iron Fist instead of Jessica Jones. You know, she fits more along with the corporate version of Iron Fist. And that would work well with them. You know, you can get Hogarth, you can get Foggy, and Danny Rand in a room together. So, maybe that will carry into Iron Fist, because I'm pretty sure she's in that too. So, we'll see how that goes. I guess you want to say Chang is a villain. He's just a nuisance right now. But, you know, he basically is trying to shut Jessica down. I mean, she got the super Oscar to, you know, say, hey, you're not supposed to have this in a building, and go for eviction, and take away the clientele, all this lovely mumbo jumbo. But, we'll see how well that works. I kind of wish that Wizard was in it longer than 20 minutes. But I get why, because, you know, his storyline is he was an IGH patient, and he ended up with these powers, and he had this medication that he had to take and everything, and he felt like somebody was after him, and truthfully it was. You know, at first he looked like he was a crackhead and on drugs and everything like that. He was like a schizophrenic kind of thing. But truthfully, when he was running around in Jessica's apartment, it was just like, holy crap, he really does have speed. He was so funny. He was a comic relief that sometimes is needed in these shows. Because obviously David Tennant isn't in it, and he was a dark, twisted relief for the show. But, of course, Wizard died in the first episode. But he's important because he was IGH. He was like Jessica. You know, he had these abilities. He was a nobody that IGH took in and used his abilities. But he was funny. So I give them credit. You know, he was really funny. And then Simpson, as you know, in the first season, he was the military guy that was kind of controlled by Kilgrave, and then he fell for Trish, and then he got hooked onto these military drugs that enhanced his, you know, enhanced him, made him bigger, more reflex, can he feel less pain and everything. We got to see him for a little bit, and I wish he would have been a villain for a little bit, got out to be what he was supposed to be. But I get why they did this, you know. His character wasn't really going anywhere. What could you have done with him, you know? If he's supposed to be a villain, what are you going to do? Make him a good guy and then turn him bad guy again? No. That's fine. That's okay, you wrapped him up. I really thought he was dead anyway. But that's okay. We'll deal with him, you know. He is killed in the second episode. But because of him, we get Trish stuck on this inhaler addiction now, or she gets a little bit stronger and reflexes and all this other stuff. But I'm not going to cry over him dying. The new characters that I'm really happy to see is the family of the Arocho's family of Oscar and Vito. I mean, their story is relevant. What's going on and what's going on in the world now. You know, he's dealing with a custody battle, and he can't get in trouble with laws and stuff because he does. You know, he's gonna get his son taken away. So I can't remember if he was illegal in agreement or not. I don't think he is illegal, but you know, he's just looking out for his family, so he'll do whatever he needs to stay afloat, like even make fake passports and stuff. So, I like their connection with Kristen Ritter, who played Jessica Jones, you know. I like that chemistry right there. So, that works out really well. I can't wait to see more of what happened, or talk more about Oscar and Vito and Jessica. You know, that's a new refresher. She's finally opening up to somebody, and that's really cool. The storyline for Trish in the first half had a new love interest, Griffin. I stared at him in the first episode and I heard his accent. I was like, who is that? And I'm binge watching Dawson's Creek, and that's who it is from season 6. He's the drunken director. I was like, wow, he grew up. But Griffin, he's just the overprotective boyfriend. You know, he works for a cable network that's not CNN but looks exactly like CNN. You know, wants to look out and do what's best for Trish. They talked about getting apartments and everything, and he lets her go and do her stupid things. Go with Jessica and get in trouble. But, you know, he's still gonna be there. And I really thought he was gonna be a bad guy, you know, did the secretness on the phones, everything. No, he was just proposing to her. There was not a bad thing about him. And Trish ruined that, which was really sad. I mean, he gets dumped because Trish wants to go on this weird adrenaline rush. Or she wants to be a superhero, basically. And if she can't do that on her talk show, so she's just going to go out in the streets and do it. Ah, Patsy. She hurt my head this season, but I get why they did it. She just hurt my season. Alright. So I'm going to do a little bit of try to be quick about the first 5 episodes with the titles and all the female directors on this. Way to discriminate against guys, by the way. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I even think they did an article in the internet where it said, you know, we are discriminating against men. We have all 13 episodes all directed by females. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they were all directed good. So, that's pretty cool. First episode was, AKA, start at the beginning. Left off the Defenders. We just don't really talk about the Defenders. That's fine. She's working on these new cases, and she's being now called the Vigilante Hero because of what happened with the Defenders and what she did with Kilgrave. You know, she basically killed him. Price Chang was in this first episode, offers to work for her, she doesn't want to do that. Trish, dressed up as Patsy. That scene was hilarious. I was like, what acid trip am I watching now? Dressed up as Patsy and did this performance, and, you know, she got the information she wanted. It was Jessica's medical file. So, she knows something's wrong with Jessica, so she's digging in deeper, and what basically started that was the accident. So she's trying to make Jessica deal with the past that she can't remember. And dealing with, you know, mourning, trying to let go of the family. And she's really having a struggle doing that, Jessica is. And it's something different. But that's when we learn about IGH. Industrial Garments and Handling, the warehouse where Jessica was held for 20 days. That's when we got to meet Wizard. He was just like IGH, and someone from IGH was trying to catch him. We find out that, you know, he had his powers. Made it look like an accident, and Jessica had to watch somebody die in front of her again. And that's really seeking in deep with her. Kristen Ritter did an amazing job with acting this season. I mean, you'll see more about it, but she's dealing with grief, anger, sadness. I think she barely smiled. You know, she doesn't smile much. So, yeah, that's what I liked about Jessica this season. Episode 2 was Freak Accident, where she gets some more information about what Wizard, you know, he had a videotape for that. He was going to submit it to Trish Talk. He actually submitted the Trish Talk. And turns out Dr. Kozlov from season 1 that helped Simpson with his medical enhancing drugs was a part of it. So she went to go confront him, and lo and behold, he died of another freak accident, of a car crash. Shocker! Well, that blew up in her face, so then we got to meet lovely detectives Eddie Koska and Ruth Sunday, who are the detectives of this season, and hopefully they'll make it out alive better than what happens with the other one last season. Yeah, he kind of went... They're investigating Wizard's death, and Oscar was there and saw the whole thing, but he had to lie because he had to protect himself. He had to protect his family. Totally understand it. So, we got to see more about that. We got to learn more about Hogarth's disease. She has ALS. So, after finding that out, she goes on a cocaine sex binge for I don't know how long. She had to relieve herself. So, I totally get it. If you're gonna die, why not have a ball? What else happened to that? Oh, Simpson! Duh. Simpson and Trish, not Simpson and Trish, Trish and Jessica found more about what was going on with IGH, so they go into this building, and Trish finds, you know, Simpson. Basically, Simpson was stalking her, protecting her, or whatever you want to say. But it turns out Simpson isn't killing these people, somebody else is, and of course, the thing is in Simpson's, is in this warehouse with the three people, and Simpson dies. But he leaves around his inhaler for Trish. Pretty, But his death, I mean, his face was facing his back, like, it's not supposed to do it. But, they got out of there. They had to basically hide Simpson's body, which is kind of sad. But, it's kind of how, episode 3 started, Soul Survivor. You know, they had to basically make Simpson disappear to protect all themselves. So they started digging into more of Jessica's past. They started digging more into this IGH project that helped Simpson. We got to see about Hogarth's partners saying, you know, medical reasons, you need to leave. And then we have to deal with that. So, you turned down Foggy Nelson's work. Help. Shame on you. Foggy's a great guy. Anyway. Hogarth hires Jessica to find dirt on these partners to see, you know, make them stop. But I think Malcolm basically took care of that. Oscar tries to evict Jessica because she's running a business in a residential apartment. You're not supposed to do that. We had to deal with all of that. We find out Oscar is a forger and he's on parole, so he can't get really involved with the cops. And then Jessica felt bad for that. And, let's see here. We got to learn a new doctor name for the IGH. It was Dr. Leslie Hansen. Jessica and Trish went to go find Hansen's place, and they find a head, which is kind of gross. It was, like, there's a head! Anyway, woman claiming to be Hansen calls Trish Talk. Jessica goes to confront them. There's a DNA test on the head, and it turns out it's Hansen. So this mysterious woman who's been talking to Jessica is not Hansen. So, there's a little dispute. You find out that this woman has the same abilities as Jessica. She's super strong. A paparazzi guy took a picture of this woman, so we got to see her do that. But she climbed up a building and just ran away like how Jessica does. God help the hobo. This episode is where we got to see Inez Green. She's connected to IGH. She's the nurse for them. We got to see Maximilian, yeah. Episode 2, Maximilian was involved, and you find out more about Trisha's past, and, you know, basically for blackmail, you know, Maximilian, either you better give me the information from the hospital, or you're going to become a pedophile, and hopes Jessica doesn't kill you from doing that. I mean, she goes out of anger. I mean, she punched a hole hard on this car. It took every ounce in Jessica not to kill this guy. And I totally get it. I would have been the same way. Jessica saved Oscar's son Vito because he was being a nuisance and he thought he could be like a Spider-Man and hang out the window, and he fell out the window and Jessica caught Oscar. They mended their fences, mended this weirdness going on. Ina's green. They find Ina's green where she looked like she was basically, you know, attacked by the monsters, what she calls it. What else happened? Price Chang was basically hired by Hogarth to get Jessica on their side. One of the guys that was hired by Chang took everything from Jessica's apartment, and he ended up being slaughtered like no tomorrow. When Jessica got home to the apartments, you know, they think Jessica did it, and she gets arrested. So that's kind of how we left that episode. The Octopus. It was episode 5. Casca, you know, he's kind of a good dirty, I don't want to say dirty cop, because he thanks Jessica basically for killing Kilgrave. But he believes her that she didn't do anything, but, you know, he wants something. So he wants to know what she's investigating about IGH. So she has to give up, you know, Ina. She has to give up basically all this other stuff. Hogarth keeps Inez in the apartment and in exchange for information, all this lovely other stuff. We got to learn another name, Dr. Carl. Dr. Carl Malice, who was basically another main doctor that was at IGH. Jessica wants help from Oscar. I really don't remember this episode, actually. I feel bad. I do remember Trish with the inhaler, and after she got off the inhaler, she got really sick, and she slept for like 26 hours, and then Griffin proposed to her, and she turned Griffin down. Because, you know, she don't want to be tied down, apparently. Whatever works for her. Let's see. Oh, Dr. Carl and the Mysterious Woman. You know, we got to see them at this aquarium where Jessica was going to try to take them down, but Carl finds Jessica, and then they go and run away in the chaos after the Mysterious Woman smashes a fish tank. So that was basically the end of the first 5 episodes. 5 was like, eh. But, you know, it's different pace, like with the first season. I mean, nothing can really touch the first season. But it's like the Punisher pace. You gotta give it a little bit of time. But, you know, I enjoy it. You know, I'm involved. I want to be involved in Jessica's past. You know, I want to see or know the answers, you know. Who, what, when, where, and why. You know. The why is the big question. You know, the new characters I enjoyed. We got Malcolm is, you know, a big support system for Jessica. You know, he gets her up every morning. He gets her trying to get involved in these cases. But you know, I enjoy Malcolm, and I enjoy more of Trish. You know, these two are dealing with addiction in their different ways. Malcolm is replacing drugs with sex, and Trish she was clean, and now she's getting addicted to this inhaler of Simpsons. So they both have their own way of dealing with stuff. So it's kind of different. So it's a kind of a long, quick version of what this first 5 seasons is about. I think I'm more talkative about this is because I watched Jessica Jones the first season, I think 3 times now. And I just fell in love with it. And I'm probably going to watch this again after a little bit, after I digest it and learn more. But it's going to be a really fun season. And I hope everybody sticks around and hope they can watch it and we can get another season out of it. So, I hope you have seen the first 5 episodes. If not, I just spoiled most of it for you. Tell me what you think about the season. Is this season a lot suckier as the first one? How do you like the villains? Do you like the new characters? Do you like that they're focusing more on the older characters? You know, just let me know. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter. The links are all below. All the same old. But this is Chelsea Flowers signing off.